This is where we look at how garments are made from fabrics and other things, of course, and some of the areas that I dealt with over the course of my time with Triberg. Pattern making is a fascinating field whereby drawings on paper of the various parts of the garment you're trying to make. So, for example, with a t-shirt, it would be the sleeves, the front, the back. So you take these patterns onto your fabric and cut based on that. The concept of darts epitomizes pattern making. These are basically 2D triangles introduced into a pattern to create a more perfect fit in 3D. This diagram shows how both the back panel and front panel of this woman's waistcoat need a dart, but at different places, of different angles and different lengths. This is a pattern that I actually made myself with the help of our fit technician, of course, for a woman's dress. And you can see the darts drawn inside of it. Finally, we see here a pattern being placed onto the fabric where it will be cut, and this is the sampling room of one of our vendors. These are my notes from when I actually made a pattern for a skirt by myself, and I can tell you I found it to be a very challenging exercise. For example, let me draw your attention to this point. Shaping the pattern from waist to hip 1 and then to hip 2 is very tricky. The body shapes both inwards and outwards along this edge, and you have to use a French curve and a hip ruler to get you through this. These notes here are the actual steps to draw out the lines of the pattern. Now, when fabric comes into a garment factory, the first thing we do is inspect for defects. We look at each and every meter of fabric and use this grading system for issues such as holes, stains, streaks, and many more. We then have to adjust our score to 100 square yards, which would also take into account the width of the fabric. Fabric usually comes in 48 or 64-inch widths. If the fabric score is less than a 30, then that lot of fabric is considered a pass. In terms of color, we would look at variation within a lot, and we would use a continuity card for that. Shade lotting is when you look for variation between lots, and all the while you need to keep matching your other media that are going into the garment with the various lots. So, for example, it could be a lace, could be a rib, could be anything else. After this, the fabric is relaxed, then layered, and then finally ready for cutting. This is a picture of a knit style being cut. Notice the paper on top of the fabric. That is the printout of the CAD, which has all the patterns on it. If you can see through this picture, these needles here are holding the paper into place, and also there are multiple layers of fabric beneath that are being cut in one go. With sewing, there is plenty to go over. In terms of operations, we have 3 types, and in preparation, for example, you have smocking. Smocking was a technique that was originally used to create give It could be in the cuffs or the neck. Nowadays, it's purely decorational, and in fact, we feed an elastic thread into the smoking machine at tension, as shown here, so that when it relaxes, once it comes out, it creates the smoking effect that we want. Now, ensuring quality, that is, that the garment should match its preset specifications, is a huge issue in apparel manufacture. Some of our practices are shown here. We would have a SPI, stitches per inch, mock put up on each machine that would show the operator the density of stitches that he needed to get in his output. When our quality assurance associate would walk through the lines, he would carry a chart like this, which had all the various measurements for that garment in the different sizes, and he could see if the output matched the specifications. This, for example, is a defect code of all the various defects that are commonly seen. Thank you.